Well, hello there, and welcome to this month's video newsletter. I'm your Luka, and I'm really glad to be landing in your inbox and be here with you. This is December. Welcome to sometimes what feels like a very wild month, and when we sit with what maybe nature is asking of us. If we look outside, nature's asking us to go inside. Nature's telling us it's time to quiet. It's time to go inwards. It's a time for reflection. It's a time for quiet. It's a time for rest. And funny enough, if you're alive in 2025, and that is certainly not what is being asked of us as parents, as people, as participants in society. This is when we have our Christmas parties at work. This is when we have family gatherings, and quite a few of us are making a lot of meals all of the time. And it starts to feel overwhelming. And I think some of this discord with how we're naturally supposed to be moving through this season, so much of our angst and kind of feelings around this season is tied to really resonating with this concept that the way that we're living our lives is not matching what is being asked of us in a natural sense. What's being asked of us of society and of community and of family expectations and traditions and all of these things, while I think those are all very important, to be clear, I think some of the discord sits in that mismatch. So on that note, I'm going to add more to potentially throw off the discord. And I'm going to be clear here. My intention is not to add more to your plate. My intention is just to give you something to think about. Because this may resonate with some. So I've got a couple of things to cover. This time of year, this season feels so busy and so hectic. So I just want to acknowledge I'm really grateful that you would take a hot 15 minutes to listen to what it is that I have to say today. So I work in nutrition. I love the power of food, and I love what I've been doing, and I want to share what it is that I've been doing in case any of this resonates with you. This month is about support. This whole newsletter today is about support. It's not about doing things right. It is about doing things that help your body feel safer, feel steadier, feel a little bit more capable of getting through the day. So I want to start first with what I've got coming up live this month. I am gathering some content here for a session that I'm calling Eat, Sleep. What did I call it? I have to read the whole thing. Eat, Sleep, Balance, How Blood Sugar Impacts Your Ability to Truly Rest, Restore, and Feel Like Yourself Again. Right? Yeah. So I hear from clients all of the time, and not just clients, but people on Instagram and people on YouTube and lots of places. I'm eating well. I do all of my supplements. I am doing all the right things. I am metering out what it is I have to do, but I still have symptoms. I'm still wired and tired. I still have histamine symptoms. I still have lethargic energy. I'm still inflamed, whatever. I don't feel like myself. I'm doing all these right things. I'm eating the food, doing the supplements, doing the list. How come I still have these symptoms? Sleep might start to get impacted along the way. Digestion might feel funny. Your moods get reactive, where you're a little bit more on edge and living life from a reactive standpoint, as opposed to taking stock of what's happening around you kind of standpoint. And this, fun times, because of the people that I serve, this is us in huge, this ramps up in perimenopause and into menopause. So a lot of people will say, well, this is maybe just what you can expect as you get older. This is like what happens when you age, or this is what happens when you've got a lot of stress. This is what happens when you've got a chronic disease, or my hormones are being difficult, or whatever. No. Do you know what it is? A lot of the times it's actually blood sugar issues that are having a hard time. And when your blood sugars are out of rhythm, the body cannot repair as well. Your digestion starts to struggle, your energy can wane, sleep starts to get affected, the nervous system never quite lands, you're kind of on edge a lot. And so instead of resting and rebuilding, what's happening in a body in this case is your body sits just slightly inside of that fight or flight most of the time. And that's the inflammatory bit. That's what triggers histamine. So histamine is not a root cause. Inflammation is not a root cause. What's the root cause? Blood sugar issues. Blood sugar issues are what drives the stress response in the body. And in this midlife hormone shift that so many of my peers and my colleagues and my clients are going through, and histamine issues as well, the system becomes even more sensitive. It has to. It has to, so that we can be, because apparently we're not getting the message and our body's trying to get the message across. And if we're not listening, if we're not responding to what it is she's asking for, she's going to start using her outside voice to tell us that she needs us to change our ways. So I want to, the part that I really love about the work that I do in holistic nutrition is that when you can witness, now I've seen it in myself, not just myself, but in clients too, when blood sugars can come back into balance, the body has an incredible capacity to settle. What do I mean by this? When you settle, you're no longer driving the symptoms. So if you can settle a lot of what's going on in the biochemistry, now you won't be as inflamed. You may not have to release histamine to try to get your attention. You may be able to sleep better. You may be able to digest better. Your moods might feel more stable. So it's the work here. I want to be really clear. When we work into blood sugar balancing, that's where holistic nutrition can really shine, because it has a big sway in how our blood sugars are over the course of the day. There's a lot of other factors, which we'll cover in that class, of course. But we're not tracking numbers. We're not counting calories. We're not counting carbs. This is not about reaching perfection. It's really about restoring rhythm and supporting your body's biology and giving your body the conditions it is that they need in order to get into that rest and heal mode and rebuild mode. So in our class coming up, it's happening on Wednesday, December 17th. Everybody who registers gets the replay. But we're going to be talking about how daily rhythm directly shapes your blood sugar. So how you eat, how you sleep, how you move through your day, how you move through stress, the role of light. These are all the different components we're going to be talking about as it pertains to your daily rhythm, because that daily rhythm directly shapes not only your biology, but that blood sugar. And it's the blood sugar, if you peel the onion, what's at the core of so many of us, especially if stress is one of our triggers, is blood sugar imbalances. That is actually the root piece. So we're going to talk about what symptoms are trying to tell you and those small grounded changes that can make some of the biggest differences. So if you've been doing all the right things and you're still feeling off, this class on December 17th, Eat, Sleep, Balance, is for you. And if your body's been asking for rest, but not just sleep, not just the sleep piece, but the restoration piece, I would love to see you there. This is a class I've built for me, and I would love to share it with you because it's the work that I need. So come along, let's link arms and do the work together. Now, that is only one part of what I offer. I do a live class accessible to everybody every month. Anybody who wants to come join can come and join. But I also run a subscription service where it's there's a weekly reminder of something to do to help support your biochemistry. I call it the GoodFood Network. And it's $40 a month for people in the newsletter. It's cheaper. So if you're in the newsletter, follow the link in the newsletter to join us instead, because you'll get a better deal. Because I say thanks for being on my newsletter, because you're the best. I give you a wink. So, and every 2 months, we have a new topic. And in December, we're continuing on blood sugar balancing as this foundation for metabolic health. So it's the gateway really to metabolic health. So blood sugar, it's not just about diabetes. It's not just about somebody who's got high A1C numbers. It's not just for those people who have metabolic syndrome. It is for people who have a family history of heart and stroke. It is for people who have a history of cognitive decline. It is for the people who really felt the hit of perimenopause. It is for the people where stress is the primary trigger to their symptoms. Because blood sugars affects hormones, it affects sleep, it affects appetite. Hormones affect inflammation. Blood sugars trigger all of these through hormonal action. So when your blood sugar steadies, your body actually feels safer. And when you've got that safety piece going on, this is the scenario in which your body can do some of the repair work we need to do that leads to feeling better and a reduction in your symptoms. So when your blood sugars are stable, decisions on what to do during the day get easier. Your energy gets steadier. You can schedule a meeting at 2 o'clock and know that you'll make it through the meeting. You can function around the dinner hour without feeling you need to punch someone in the face. Is that just me sometimes? Yeah, that's when I know I haven't eaten well and I haven't set up my body well in that day. Yeah, because we want to get your body out of emergency mode. And this is the thing, right? Most people think that when we're talking about blood sugars, it's just about, oh, I guess I need to go low carb. Going low carb actually messes it even more, unfortunately. And the other piece, when we're talking about blood sugars, a lot of people will talk about mood and a lot of people will talk about energy. And I think both are very valid here, but I want to talk about energy in particular. I think so many of us will associate blood or our energy over the course of the day is based on how well we slept the night before. Can I make it through the day? Do I crash mid-afternoon? Does it have to do with how I slept the night before? Or my mood is really dependent on my stress. Or my symptoms are really dependent on how inflamed I am. Underneath all of these, the energy, the mood, the inflammation, the symptoms, there's one hidden driver. I used to think it was inflammation. But if you peel the layer of inflammation off, I think of it like an onion, there's still another layer underneath inflammation. What is the one hidden driver of inflammation? Blood sugar imbalances. Correct. So, blood sugar will actually dictate adrenaline and cortisol, your main hormone in the stress response. Blood sugars drive some of their expression. Blood sugar swings create cravings. And the different type of cravings at different times of day can tell us different things of where you're struggling. I love my work. Blood sugar dips are often one of the drivers behind irritability, anxiety, emotional shutdown, and sleep disturbances. Blood sugar spikes lead to blood sugar crashes. You can think of it like a roller coaster. I use that analogy a lot, so I think by now most will understand what I'm talking about. But if you've got blood sugar levels going up and down all day long and rather erratic, they will go up and down. They're not supposed to be erratic. They're supposed to be like a carousel, not like a roller coaster. So when you're on a roller coaster, the highs feel amazing, but when you crash, it's at the bottom of that roller coaster. Your body perceives you're going to die in that moment. So your body drives a stress response because the stress response frees glucose into your bloodstream. And now you're not going to crash the roller coaster. Oh my God, so great. Love that for you. Hate that it's happening every time. Because at the same time as the crash comes, now comes a confusion, the inability to think. Now comes the production of some compounds that drive things like long-term, 20, 30 years down the road, Alzheimer's, dementia, heart disease. Luka. I know. It's all the same work. It's all the same work. So a lot of what it is that I do in my work is to get people off of a roller coaster and get you on a carousel. When your blood sugars drop too low, when your roller coaster is really quite extreme, your body is going to release emergency hormones. Not because you're necessarily in danger, but because your body thinks you are. Your brain, in fact, thinks you are. And so if you're the person who wakes up at 3 a.m., it could be either because you've got all the worries in the world and it's keeping you up and your brain is active, or you're doing a histamine dump, or you're struggling with sleeping through the night, you're getting up to pee 7 times a night. These are all indicative of this cortisol that is peaking at a time it should be quite low. When you snap at your family, your blood sugars are dipping. When you need coffee or you cannot get through the day without that chocolate bar in your desk at work, that is because your blood sugars are crashing. When you can't stop eating the entire bag of chips after dinner, that is a clear indicator that your adrenals are struggling because of the salt request. There's so many hints to what it is that you're feeling that your body's going to be communicating with you. And all of these signs, that's all they are. They're not a sign that you're a failure. They're a sign that your body's trying to tell you something and that she, he, they are asking for something different. So if you're struggling with any of these, if your blood sugars are chaotic, now your hormones are going to be chaotic. And in that chaos, the body has a really hard time doing repair work, calming everything, making sure you're not in a histamine dumping scenario. Yeah. So this is why this month inside the Good Food Network, we are looking at metabolism, but through the lens of blood sugar balancing as a foundational piece. So we're going to be talking about, we've got a couple of sessions. We've got one live session a week. We're doing a session on leptin, where we'll be talking about appetite hormones and how they're tied to our blood sugar response and what it is that we could do to support that to work better. We're going to be talking about cholesterol. Yeah, blood sugar and insulin issues driving cholesterol issues, correct. We are going to be talking about minerals like potassium and how much we need potassium for the blood sugar balancing part and for our nervous system part that triggers that stress response. We will also be doing a mini session on sleep where we're going to talk about that blood sugar and cortisol feedback loop and why that's potentially what's driving a lot of insomnia. So each session that we're doing inside the Good Food Network this month looks, it's like it's the same house, but we're all taking different doors into the same house. So leptin, cholesterol, minerals like potassium, and sleep. These are going to be some of the main things that we're covering this month. So if you feel any of these, I want you to know these are going to be of service to you. If blood sugar feels overwhelming, I want you to hear this clearly. You don't have to fix it. It's an invitation to listen to what it is the body is saying. You don't have to fix it. You can continue on the way you are. That's A-okay. It's really okay. Especially in a month of December where we're feeling the pressure for lots of different things. And I realize I'm adding to the pressure with what it is I'm saying. But I'm hoping that these newsletter missives give you a chance to pay attention and an invitation for you to pay attention to your body. Yeah, I have solutions. I will always have solutions. Send me a message. I don't have any fancy gizmos to, anyway, it's my own business, my shortcomings. But listen, I'm hoping that you're listening to what it is your body's trying to tell you. So if these blood sugar issues feel overwhelming, you don't necessarily need to fix it. I just want you to pay attention to them. And I want you to acknowledge them. Because the secret is you don't need a perfect diet. You don't need to go low carb. Actually, you'll make it worse. You don't necessarily need to go paleo. Some may do better with paleo short term, but long term, we got to bring back as much variety as we can. You don't need to track numbers. You don't need restriction. You don't need to do this with your food. We need to do this with your food. You need understanding. You need rhythm. You need steady. You need progress. You need stability. Stability is gentle. Stability is not extreme. It's consistent, supportive, kind stability. That's what it is to you. And that's what I offer in the Good Food Network. So every tiny choice you make from acknowledging, from paying attention, from noticing, all of these are a step towards steadiness. And when we move towards steadiness, the body really notices. So when you're ready to take a step, listen, if this message is landing, what I've said here is like, okay. If you've been wondering whether there's more going on underneath your symptoms, the Good Food Network is where we explore this kind of stuff. You're going to learn, you're not going to guess anymore. You're going to understand instead of forcing. We're going to support. There's not going to be pressure. Yeah, of course, there's stuff to do if you want, but you don't have to. You can. I think when you do the things I propose and you don't have to do all of them. I give you options so you can pick which feels easier. You are the driver, but you have, when you're ready to take that step and be an active participant in your own wellness, is when you're going to join the Good Food Network. You are always welcome. The doors are always open 24 hours a day. Join us whenever you want. When you're ready for learning, when you're ready for community, when you're just ready to not be alone on this health journey and really put some of these quiet, super unsexy pieces in place and put on that cloak of consistency, which is your new superpower. I look forward to seeing you inside the Good Food Network. These are all the kinds of things that I do. I love what I do. I love the power of food. And I also love that we are entering a season that can feel like there are so many booby traps. And I want to end by saying, I don't think it's a booby trap, pal. You can look at it as such, but when you look at it as a booby-trapped season, you are now turning on the stress response, which gets you on the biggest roller coaster of all. Let's get you off the roller coaster. And first off, let's get you onto a carousel. And the carousel is the invitation to see everything in front of you with abundance, through the lens of abundance. I am entering a season where it's so dark outside that now we are creating light inside. Where is that light being created? It's being created around the candles we light on Christmas Eve. It's being lit with my daughter coming from Canada to come and hang out with me for 10 days. I cannot wait. That's where the light will come. And it will come with the roast chicken that the three of us will make for Christmas dinner. It's going to come from the time gathered together where I will make an upside down cake. I forget what it's called. It's a mess that has graham crackers and pineapple and whipped cream and this beautiful rich custard in it. It is the richest dessert with so much sugar in it. And I am going to love it and eat it because it is a celebration time and I'm going to light things up for myself. So I hope that you get to light things up for yourself and that you bring the light inside and that you can shine bright. Thanks for joining me on this little missive, and I wish you a delightful December. I'll see you in the new year, or if you're joining us in the Good Food Network or at this month's class, I'll see you there. Be well, my friend. Salut. À bientôt.